Every post, every caption, every carefully chosen angle was like adding another brushstroke to this perfect portrait of my life. But somewhere along the way, the portrait started to feel more real than the person painting it. I wasn't just curating my feed, I was curating myself. And the scariest part, everyone else around me was doing it too. Welcome to curated reality. A world where what seems true isn't always what is true, but what's been meticulously crafted to look true. A curated reality is a version presented after carefully selecting, editing, and arranging moments. Just like how a museum curator carefully chooses what artifacts they want to display, we choose what parts of our life we want to show and hide to the world, highlighting the admirable, aesthetic, and good parts while hiding the messy, ordinary, and boring parts. Now, is this considered lying? No, it's not lying, it's storytelling with an audience of billions. A year ago, when I was in 10th grade, I was completely stressed over all my grades and my assignment deadlines, barely holding it all together. Yet, at the same time, I posted a story with all my friends, laughing with energetic music, looking effortlessly happy. The truth? That smile probably lasted 3 seconds for the photo. What came after was the constant worrying, comparing myself to others, and the crushing thought, why does everyone else have it together when I don't? That's when it hit me. That's when I realized that I wasn't just comparing my life to theirs, I was comparing my messy reality to their curated highlight reels. I often see people posting aesthetic study photos, and that gets me worried about how I haven't even started studying or even touched my book. But the reality would have been that they would have just posted to perhaps show off and not actually studied in real life. Despite knowing this, we still get affected psychologically. This is because what you see is what you believe. And in that battle, reality will always lose. On social media, we're not humans, we're editors. We crop sadness, we delete failures, we filter insecurities. We create this whole museum of perfection. But a museum isn't real life, it's carefully curated artifacts. The mirror sees our tears, but the internet only ever sees our smiles. The problem is, we have started to trust the internet more than the mirror. Here's the twist: curation isn't always deception. What if I told you that curation was actually a skill? Artists curate exhibitions, museums curate history, even TEDx curates speakers and ideas. Curation is the act of choosing which story to tell, and choosing doesn't automatically make it false. The danger isn't in curation itself, but it's in forgetting that it's curation. When I share a happy photo, I'm not always lying. I'm choosing to remember a good memory, and that's not wrong. But when I start to behave as though that one happy photo, which has no worries, is the story of my entire life, then it becomes distortion. And it's not just about posting, of course, it's also the mental gymnastics behind it, and of course, the checklist that it comes with. Which photo makes me look thinner? Is this worth enough likes, or should I just delete this? Is this caption deep enough, or is this cringe? Posting may seem simple, but it's actually a performance, rehearsed, edited, calculated. Posting may seem effortless, but behind it was effort, anxiety, and sometimes even shame. We think that we're sharing a moment, but oftentimes the real story is the exhaustion that you feel before pressing share. And that lets me present a paradox. We do these gymnastics to connect, but we get more disconnected. We perform for authenticity, yet the more we perform, the less authentic we feel. As a violinist, I once decided to post a simple 30-second video of myself playing. Simple, right? Except it took me around 27 takes. Or should I say 270 takes? My phone's storage was completely dead. On take 12, my bow slipped and it made a sound which could only be described by a dying dinosaur. On take 19, a mosquito flew right into my face mid vibrato, and it looked like I was battling invisible demons. On take 270, I decided it wasn't worth it, spending so many hours just to show people my skills. I mean, clearly I had some skill issues, but oh well, at least I had an hour of practice. The mirror reflects exactly what's in front of it, not what's behind. Social media mirrors work the same way too. They only show the polished angle that we choose to hold up, not the chaos just outside of it. The laughter, the tears, the awkward bloopers, all edited out. The mirror shows the truth, but only about what we choose to show it. That's when I realized curation isn't just about filters, it's also about the invisible labor that you put in just to show an effortless moment. Even my music wasn't just about playing anymore, it became a performance for the algorithm. We like to believe that we are in control of what we see online, that we decide what to watch, what to click, what to like, but that's not true. The algorithm is the ultimate curator. Quietly and invisibly, it decides what's important for us to watch and what should shape our moods and desires. The more we interact with something, the more it molds our feed around it. For example, I once liked a few videos about turtles. Now the algorithm seems convinced that I am a turtle. Every third reel is marine life. I can't seem to scroll in peace without a turtle or a stingray giving me unsolicited life advice. It's funny, but it's also a little unsettling because curation isn't just something that we do, but it's also something that's being done to us, shaping the way that we see the world without us even realizing it. Research shows rising levels of anxiety, loneliness, and FOMO linked to this. FOMO, the fear of missing out, is that ache you feel when your screen shows that everyone else is living the life that you wish you had. It's like scrolling through a party you weren't invited to, or a trip you couldn't afford, or even an accomplishment not yet achieved, and suddenly your life feels smaller. FOMO isn't just the fear of missing out, it's the belief that everyone else is living better and you're the only one that got left behind. Imagine this, you're sitting in a room full of people, but you still feel invisible. Not because no one's talking to you or no one's engaging with you, but because no one chose to double tap your photo. That is the silent epidemic of our generation. We are surrounded, yet still disconnected. Here's something that's rarely talked about. When relationships end, friendships break, or vacations fade, the curated posts don't just disappear. We don't just grieve the people we lost, we also grieve the digital museum of who we once were. It's grief, not just for people, but for identities that no longer exist. And if your online identity was deeply tied to that relationship, when it ends, a part of your curated self also dies. And you're left wondering, who Who am I without this? And it's not as simple as just deleting the photos, of course, because deleting feels like erasing a part of history, as though those moments were never real. Keeping them feels like you're living in a haunted house filled with memories. Editing your feed just becomes another form of curation, which is something that we don't want. In a hall of mirrors, your reflection gets squished, stretched, distorted. That's what social media does. It presents endless versions of ourselves, but never the whole self. It makes sure that we tend to lose track of who we really are when the filters fade, when the likes disappear, and the posts go quiet. Here's the irony: even authenticity nowadays is curated too. We say that we are being real online by sharing struggles, posting unfiltered photos, but even those are chosen, timed, and framed. Authenticity is curated too. Think about it. We don't post about our failures unless we have completely recovered from it. We don't post our messy rooms until we have moved the actual mess out of it. Authenticity isn't a lie, it's another version of storytelling. The question isn't whether we curate, but it's in how often we admit to the curation that we are doing honestly. One Sunday, after taking a long break, I decided to go to my Bharatanatyam class. And while dancing one of my favorite pieces, I struck this very graceful pose. You know, the kind that you'd normally screenshot for a poster. My face was calm and spiritual, like I'd achieved nirvana. And my dance teacher, she wanted to record it. In reality, my leg was cramping so hard, I was bargaining with God internally. 15 more seconds and I'll never skip stretches again. Instagram saw a timeless dancer, but reality just saw a kid surviving a lactic acid apocalypse. They say art hides pain. Mine just hid it in HD. But this is not just about filters and likes. This is about mental health. In 2024, a global survey showed teens showing record high levels of loneliness and anxiety. And one of the strongest predictors? The hours spent comparing themselves to their curated feeds. Social media convinces us that worth is measured in numbers, in likes, in followers, in shares. And the dangerous part? When self worth is outsourced, we are never enough. The mirror may not get likes, but it never lies. The problem is that we have started to look more into our screens than into our mirrors. So, what do we do? How do we reclaim what the mirror misses? I believe that the most radical thing that we can do in today's world is to be unfiltered. One honest story about failure is worth way more than 1,000 perfect posts. Imagine if instead of deleting and hiding insecurities, we shared them. Imagine if influence wasn't measured in numbers, but in how many people felt seen. Imagine if the next time you looked at yourself in the mirror, you didn't ask, "Do I look like my feed?" but instead, "Am I real to myself?" For too long, we've been staring into a mirror that shows perfection but hides humanity. What the mirror shows is curated. What the mirror misses is human. Maybe it's time that we stop performing for the mirror and start connecting beyond it. The mirror may not get likes, but it shows something way more important: the truth. And that is the kind of reality worth curating. After all, in a world full of filters, the bravest thing you can be is unedited. Thank you.